Hello, everybody. I'm Damien Lawrence. I'm the founder of Farm Fresh 24/7 and the developer of that. The inspiration behind creating Farm Fresh 24/7 came from the desire to address food insecurity and build stronger local communities. Seeing the challenges of food deserts and the lack of access to fresh, transparent food networks, I wanted to create a platform that connects local growers, bakers, and makers directly with their communities. By fostering these hyperlocal food systems, as we call them, the connections, we can support local economies and ensure everyone has access to fresh, locally sourced food and products. Plus, knowing where your food comes from and how it's grown adds a layer of trust and transparency that is often missed in larger food systems. I partner with Lawrence Seals, aka Nature Boy. Yeah, buddy. Lawrence and I set out on a mission to address food insecurity issues, such as food deserts, urban food deserts, and the lack of access to transparent food networks across the nation and the world. We aim to provide knowledge about where your food comes from and how it's grown. By supporting local economies, we enable people in your own neighborhood to contribute by selling, bartering, and donating their goods and providing educational resources along the way. What we ask is that you donate to that to get access to our community and the movement, collectively sustainable. I'll give the floor to Lawrence so he can tell you what we're doing in Atlanta in the pilot program with this local community using Farm Fresh 24/7 and the movement we are creating. Go ahead, Lawrence.
All right, thank you. First and foremost, appreciate you all for being here. We're going to make this brief. The whole point of us doing this hyperlocal food system movement, like Damien stated, is to basically create a transparent food system, but also to shift our paradigm. I believe that a lot of things are happening around us, and that we have an opportunity. And we feel like the food system is at the center of that opportunity. Microeconomies, building communities, food security, and creating another stable market for us to exchange our goods on, because we understand the fiat currency is unstable at this point. So the food system, again, as this diagram is showing, is at the center of it. And we believe that this is how we can impact change in a hyperlocal arena. So discussion topics of the day are going to be: what is Farm Fresh 24/7? What is the hyperlocal food system movement? Who can participate? What are our needs, and how will your support assist? Like Damien said, again, to reiterate, please save all the questions to the end and we will definitely get to them. First things first, what is Farm Fresh 24/7? Farm Fresh 24/7 is our peer-to-peer marketplace. Farm Fresh 24/7 is free to download, free to post, and it's basically our transparent procurement map. We feel that, again, our food system is somewhat under attack, and I'm saying that lightly, but I'm saying it's systems and things that are in place that are offering to us as in a holistic community of American citizens, we are getting the bottom of the barrel. And again, this transparent procurement map is something that we're calling for, because we understand that we need to take the food system in our own hands. And again, this is the community infrastructure. So that editorial we is us being the growers, bakers, and makers, and the consumers as well. So Farm Fresh 24/7 is built up to house three different users. The first user we're going to talk about is the buyer. Again, more than 95% of all chronic diseases are caused by food choice, toxic food ingredients, and nutritional deficiencies. This is what we understand now, present day, utilizing all these walking supercomputers that we have. We can Google anything and find out the information, and the information is overwhelmingly staggering to say that our food is causing the sickness in our country. The food that we're being presented is causing the malnutrition. It's causing the diabetes. It's causing all the extra things that's been going on. And as buyers, we're already conscientious consumers, and we're saying we need to find something better. We need to have better options available than what the big box grocers are presenting to us. So the first user on this app is going to be the buyers, who are simply trying to find the best materials, the best produce, the best ingredients possible, so they can introduce it to themselves, their households, and possibly their community. And again, shopping hyperlocally gives you the confidence of knowing exactly where your items are coming from. This is what we're adding in as far as like that transparency model that we're preaching. We're encouraging the buyers to go directly to the people, directly to your growers, bakers, and makers, and ask them what's in the produce, or excuse me, what you fertilize with the produce with, or what's in the bread ingredients are. So this, again, that transparency is what we're presenting, because that's what we're calling for as a national community of consumers. We need something that's more trusted. So the first person on this app is going to be the buyer, and these are the obvious benefits of utilizing the app for them. Secondly, we have sellers. Again, the growers, bakers, and makers of the nation, whether you're just starting out because 2020 caused you to be aware of scarcity in our food system, or the fragility of our food system, or you're somebody who's been doing it for 20 years, 30 years, and you're in something that's a generational pass down mechanism. Sellers can be on this app in all capacities and all faculties. And the benefit of the app is, for our farmers specifically, only 10 cents of each food dollar returns to the farmer. The other 90 cents goes towards packaging, marketing, and transportation. So for our farmers, or our sellers, right, growers, bakers, and makers, those are people who are usually going to the farmer's market to set up on a Saturday, sit out in the sun, spend their money on a booth. You know, they're paying lot rent, they're decorating their tables, they're getting all the bells and whistles. So they're coming out of pocket before they even sell an item, right? Again, that's that 10 cents, because they had to spend all that money before they sold anything. 10 cents of each dollar is going back to them. This is a benefit for them, because we're encouraging the culture of Farm Fresh 24/7 is going to put your eyes on the produce, going to meet the baker, going to shake the hand of the person who makes the fertilizer, and asking those questions. So that shortens their logistical transportation routes. So now they don't have to wash the produce, bag it, tag it all Friday evening to get ready for the market on Saturday and Sunday, only to stay out there for 10, 12 hours, set up, break down, and do it again the next day, only to sell a portion of their products. And then whatever's left is deemed as trash, as waste. So again, this is creating a system that's more beneficial to our sellers, our growers, bakers, and makers, because they don't have to do the logistical work necessary to meet the market. The market is coming to them. So again, no worrying about expensive vendor fees, elaborate booth setups, or spending time and gas hauling foods to and from the market. Farm Fresh 24/7 is available on the phone. It goes with them whenever they open up their market. They can open it up on the phone. And again, us as consumers are in, like, the culture we're presenting is, us as consumers are dispersing the weight off of the sellers, the growers, bakers, and makers, so we can attach ourselves to them, and they can see the benefits of it right away within that system. All right, our third echelon or type of people that are using this app is the barterers. In the economy where every penny counts, bartering proves to be an effective method to stretch your resources and cut costs. Now, again, I talked about the fiat currency earlier, and again, it's not going down. Inflation is here. It's only going to get worse. When my folks were growing up, they were talking about how gas was 10 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents. Now it's $4.50. And this is a lifetime of understanding. This is wisdom that I've gained with my own eyes, and understanding that the market is not going down, it's going up. And we understand that the wealth and income gap, the wealth disparity within our income brackets are widening, and prices are going up and income is not. Inflation is here, and we have to do something about it. And the most provocative, efficient thing that I believe we can do is to have goods to barter with, to sell ourselves. So again, as we become buyers and we're starting to immerse ourselves in the market and starting to procure our goods, the culture of Farm Fresh 24/7 is also calling for prosumerism, which is becoming a maker, baker, or grower yourself, so that you add value to the system, so that, again, we populate with more opportunity to buy from each other. But secondly, if the dollar changes overnight, which is what infrastructure, or excuse me, that is what our system and inflation does, right? The gas prices usually change in the morning. You can get an apple today for $1, and tomorrow overnight it's going to change. It's going to replicate what the market is calling for. We have a sense of autonomy when we barter. So if we can get things closest to the raw material as possible, like an apple, like carrots, like produce, added value goods, things that we grow, bake, and make, we can now start to step the fiat currency and deal directly with peer-to-peer transactions with the raw resource. So again, the third level of user is the barterer, and ultimately that's where prosumerism comes in. So what is the hyperlocal food system movement? Hyperlocal food system movement and collectively sustainable is one and the same. Collectively sustainable is a grassroots movement, 100% financed and driven by everyday people who no longer trust the current food system and desire to have a more sustainable, community-centered model brought forward. This is us saying, hey, enough is enough. Again, we're growers, bakers, and makers, or we're enthusiasts of the hyperlocal food system movement, and we're saying that we're not going to wait for legislation to change. We're not going to wait for ballots to get checked. We're not going to wait for people to create the framework for us. Collectively sustainable is about us creating the solution for us, right? For us, and this solution also includes us spending our money with each other. We're going to get into that in a minute. The objectives for this movement is divestment from the billionaire class and investment into your own community. Again, we're calling for that change, and that's the support system. The mechanism behind it is we can start to collectively pour into one another, thus sustaining each other if we all have things to buy, barter, or sell. And again, this is a way for us, instead of protesting, to come together in unison again and say, hey, we don't like the way this system is going. And again, we're not voting for someone else to change this system. We're going to build our own system because we understand that our system currently is compromised. It has no integrity, it has no morals, and we don't trust it. Right. So the first objective is to divest from the billionaire class and start to invest in your own community. Second objective is to make a stance again in solidarity. We're calling for a new system that prioritizes holistic health and well-being over profits. This is where that generational gap and disparity come in, where we don't understand our community. We don't know our neighbors. We don't have a name-to-name basis on people that live in our streets or in our communities. We're calling for a system that prioritizes family time, and we're not working 60 to 70 hours a week due to inflation. We can have some kind of quality of life. We're all saying the same thing. Again, we're all calling for a healthier food options. So again, that holistic wellness is further than just food. We're collectively sustainable. We're calling for community. We're calling for that base of understanding within people who are coming together to intentionally support this movement. Right. Next is we're trying to lessen our footprint. Again, collectively sustainable is about stewardship. It's not just farmers, growers, bakers, and makers. These are people who understand that we've been destroying the earth, right? We've been destroying the earth. We've been over consuming, and we have to now take the stance to repair what we've broken. Somebody has to do it. It's a difficult conversation to have, but in the end, someone has to start. Someone has to start the process of reciprocity, right? The earth is already giving to us so much. So lessening our carbon footprint, being conscientious of what we consume, composting, seed saving, again, stewardship in general as a whole is one way that we can start to initiate those changes necessary to repair what's broken. And lastly, our objective is to build sustainable hyperlocal food networks. And that sustainable network is really the infrastructure that's needed for this movement to go from a movement that's just hyperlocal to Atlanta to a movement that's nationwide and even worldwide. And I said this before, it seems like things are strategizing on a world level. We need to also be able to mentally strategize on the world level, even if it's just bringing what we do in an hyperlocal arena and bringing it to the front-facing community as a way to solve our problems, and thus them being able to adopt it so that it goes further than just our communities. So the hurdles that we're encountering thus far with the hyperlocal food system movement and Farm Fresh 24/7 are a lack of media presence. Farm Fresh 24/7 is owned and operated by the two guys you're looking at here. We're the ones who are doing all the work. We're behind the scenes. We're marketing. We're the campaign. We're trying to write grants. We're trying to do everything, and our lack of media presence is really suffering because we can't be on social media all day either. So lack of media presence is really hurting us. Need for more farmers with produce that they grow to join the app. Produce that they grow. Again, this is a big deal because we're starting to see an upheaval and farmers started to go to distribution centers to kind of supply themselves in down seasons with produce that they're not growing, but they're passing it off as their own. This is another part of what we're seeing as a dangerous waters that we're treading in, because this might become a norm. Some farmers are not even taking the stickers off of these things. They're not even hiding that it's not theirs, but we're so obtuse of our food system, we don't understand it, that we just go along with it. Most of our consumer base is not mindful. They don't understand it. So we need to do the work again as you know, a unit, as a community. So farmers with the produce that they grow on the app. We need more consumers to purchase and support directly, again, as an incentive. We get all the farmers on the app. We need people to start buying from the farmers. We need to show them that their items are valued. The growers, bakers, and makers, that the time they're putting, the intention they're putting into these products, the time that it takes to make these products is not going unnoticed, and we need to start supporting directly. So that's also a hurdle because we need more people to just spend money on the app, meeting and greeting these people in their area. And lastly, funding to support growth. The funding to support growth is basically the app is starting to have an upheaval because it's more people who are mindful of consumption and they want that transparent food system. And we need to be able to fund our own movement. Again, we're not subsidized by any government. We're not subsidized or backed by any major conglomerate or any fiscal sponsors. We are our own savior, and we have to fund our own growth as well. So as people start to utilize the app, we need to be able to have the finances to support the growth. And how you can help. So this is an important part. How you can help, what we're asking of you. This is, excuse me, let me go back. I'm sorry, what happened here? Okay. How you can help. Again, this is where we're asking of you, and this is what you can do without becoming a member of Collectively Sustainable. Right now, intentional spending. We're asking you all to divest at least $20 a week, $80 a month. Divest from the big box grocer. Find people in your area who are growing, baking, and making staple products that you know you need anyway. So a lot of things I tell people is bread, eggs, toothpaste, you know, hygiene items, but these are things that are readily available because these are entry-level things that people can learn. We're just asking if there are people in the app that are on the app in your area, start to divest, start to spend intentionally, spend $20 a week with these growers, bakers, and makers so that we can also, again, show them that their products are valued and that they're appreciated. So that divestment is one thing that you can do. Intentional skill share. A lot of us are out here homesteading already. We started growing food because of 2020. Again, we just had a big pivot in life and we started to learn it. We started to pull things out the mud and we started to beef up our wheelhouse and our tool shed. So intentional skill share, because education supports the infrastructure of the app. We need to constantly be mindful that we can't do it all. So if I'm somebody who's growing potatoes here in Atlanta for my small community, if the community gets bigger, there's no way I can sustain the growth of the community. I just don't have the acreage. I need to teach other people how to grow the potatoes, how to make the soap, how to, you know, weave the baskets, whatever you can share as a skill that you've already cultivated that has value to you and your lifestyle. We're asking you that you jump on the app. Again, education is a big part of the app, Farm Fresh 24/7. Jump in and put your educational resources there. Have your classes there. You can still lead them back to your website, back to your storefront, wherever you're going, your Zoom link, your TikTok live, whatever, but utilize the Farm Fresh 24/7 app to be visible to the community of people who are looking to learn these things. So it's just another adjunct that you can use. Or if you don't even bother with educating people on other platforms, then I'm just asking, intentionally start to skill share on this app, intentionally on this app. If you don't do it anywhere else, start to organize stuff hyper-locally, utilizing the skills that you've learned. Thirdly is boots on the ground. Again, Damien and I are the only sources of Farm Fresh 24/7. It is difficult for us to get everywhere, and we need the assistance. We need people to spread the word directly to farmers. Also, we need people to vet the farmers. And I've been saying this as of late, since we started to uncover and unravel this debacle with farmers using distribution food to cover as their own. We need you, the people who are already going to farmers markets. You're already being mindful of what you consume. If you're already there, we're just asking you to ask the farmers, hey, can I come to your farm? Can I visit? Can I buy it from you directly instead of coming here? Allow you to go. That is a good opportunity for you to put your eyes on the produce, for you to verify. Again, we're our own check and balance system. We're asking for that to be the boots on the ground capacity. Go to the farmers market, make connection with farmers, pull them to the app, right? Verify that they have produce that they are growing, that they are baking, that they are making these products. Them to the app with that certainty that we've already have a vetting system in place. Our boots on the ground team members are vetting these folks specifically so that we are not going to the app and getting the same produce that we get from the big box grocer. That's not where we're trying to go. We're not trying to resell wholesale items. We really want this stuff to come from the people so we can get our money back directly to the people. And lastly, our marketing team. Again, this is a big way that you can help. Everything is ran off social media now. Again, Damien and I'm a farmer. He's on the backside answering questions, critiquing the app, molding it all day, every day. I'm really out in the field. I ain't got time to be on social media. We need your help. If you're somebody who's social media savvy, you want to give your time or your energy to creating content or documenting the growth in your area, like I've been doing on TikTok, we're asking you to utilize your voice on social media to broaden our spectrum of reachableness to our broader community. And that's how you can, again, help us in tremendous ways. Social media is one of those things where it can just impact us so much that it just has to be done. My bad. All right, y'all, we coming back. We're going to get to the questions. All right, lastly, what we're asking is membership. We need to be members. We need to provide the sustainability for our own system. We're calling for the change. We're organizing the change. We have to fund the change. And we have it etched out to where $5 a month, a small contribution on a monthly basis with intentionality. So we move from donations. We can still do donations, but donations does not secure our movement forward. Donations don't come in a specific manner to where we can understand that we can build at this time when we have an upshift of 20,000 people. This membership of $5 a month, we feel is accessible. You know what I mean? And it's impactful. So that small contribution multiplied by all of our community is going to give us our baseline of what we need to sustain our system as we move forward. So our goal for the membership is increased visibility. Again, it's the marketing capacity, it's the word of mouth, it's the prosumerism. That all helps the increased visibility. And our goal is to create 100 members in 15 major cities, right? We're going to call these cities after they're created with 100 members, our resource hubs. That's going to be a later conversation. That's when we introduce stewardship centers and how our educational model comes in, and then how we take our money and start to dump back into these stewardship centers or these resource hubs in that manner. But again, that's where we can transparently see where our subscriptions, our $5 a month membership, where it goes after it touches Farm Fresh and it takes care of our marketplace and our app. Again, we have to fund our own freedom. We need to be able to fund that growth, sustain that growth. And now we want to see where the money goes. This is not a business that is built on capitalism. Damien and I have no intentions of getting rich. We want to live comfortable lives like all of us do. We are the only ones doing things like this as a business, like as a LLC. It's not a 501c3, but we're saying that what we're doing is debunking the myth of the 4-minute mile with the food system. We're showing that average people can come together, put $5 together every month, and practice that collective economy that we've been talking about for so long. And then we can show and build that trust as we see where the money is going without any scrutinization. We have to build that. So again, 100 members in 15 major cities. The membership is going to give you direct access to our private group platform. So we built a private group platform on a website called Heartbeat. It's a community-centered website, and we're going to be utilizing that to chat, to disseminate information through our courses, and to have weekly meetings and check-ins on how we're progressing, how we can change the way we're presenting this to our community to get more people bought in. How I've done it here in Atlanta is how I'm going to be presenting you with that functional model in our community platform. It also is going to assist with organizing hyper-locally and locally. So right now, we're just going to break it down to states. As we get those 100 members in those hubs created, we can then break it down from state into a hyper-local field. So instead of Georgia, it'll move to Atlanta and the surrounding region of Atlanta. And that's where we, again, utilizing this platform, we're going to be able to break us down so that way you're not scrambling to look for people in your area. You're already going to join the app and you'll find those people. You can now intentionally start to build with those same people who understand the culture and what we're bringing forth just as you do. So quick recap, Farm Fresh 24/7, again, is our hyperlocal procurement tool and resource map. It's the thing that we use to go find each other. It's the way that we can overstep the big box grocer and get contact with nutrient-dense, ethically sourced produce. It's where we can see everything in our area. We can reduce the mileage to 5 to 100 miles. We can see it. That's our resource map. Collectively Sustainable is a membership-based grassroots movement that sustains the growth of the hyperlocal food system movement. We're the movement. We're funding our own freedom, and we need to put our dollars together as far as a cultural edifice. We need to understand that we have to put our money together to sustain what we build. So again, Collectively Sustainable is where that membership-based model is coming from. You put your $5 a month in, and again, we're starting to showcase where we're dumping our resources and how we're building as a community. And lastly, our short-term goal is to populate 15 major cities with 100 users and to begin to organize nationally. All right, that's organizing intentionally as well. So again, we're going to start with the states, and then we'll go into breaking it down to hyperlocal arenas or regions. And again, that's with specificity of understanding how we're going to organize, what steps we're taking to do tours, to do donation-based workshops, to do added value workshops where you can be sustainable as a unit. Again, we're bringing all that information to the forefront. And again, I appreciate you all for joining us for that quick presentation, and we are opening the floor now for all questions.